Hi, my name is Jay with Kick Foosball Tables. First off, I'd like to welcome you to the Kick family. Today I'll be showing you how to properly assemble your Kick 48-inch Elite Foosball table. I hope this instructional video was helpful. With no further delay, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you want to do is go ahead and open your box and take a look at your contents. Then, go ahead and each piece out onto your floor individually. If you are assembling your foosball table on a hard surface, I do recommend you lay it on a large blanket or a large piece of cardboard. That way you don't damage your foosball table during the assembly process. Next, go ahead and match each part to what's inside your instruction manual. Once you've matched each part to what's inside your instruction manual, if you notice any missing or damaged parts, please contact Kick with pictures of your shipping label, the box itself, and the damaged part. Our contact information will be listed at the end of this video. For step 1 of this assembly, we'll be sliding our playing field P3 into the groove that you see here on both side panels P1. You simply just want to make sure that the ball entry hole is closer to the floor and that the white side of the side panel is faced inward. And making sure that your graphics are face down. Go ahead and insert it into that groove. Add your other side panel. Next, we're attaching both of our end panels P2 to both side panels P1. And you just want to make sure that the goalie hole is closest to the floor, and that the groove that you see here faces inwards towards the playing field. We'll be attaching our end panels using our H3 washers and bolts H1. You just want to go ahead and line up both the holes on your end panel to both the holes on the side panel. You want to secure using your Allen wrench that was provided. After you've completed step 2 and attaching both your end panels to both of your side panels, now on the next step, step 3, and attaching both of our support braces P6 to the bottom of our playing field using our screws H5 and our H6 nut. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to insert all 4 of our H6 nuts into these holes right here. What you want to make sure when you are inserting your nut is that the groove that you see here on the end of the nut is faced out, and that the hole on the end of the nut is aligned with the hole on your support brace. Next, you want to secure your support brace by lining up the hole on the support brace to the hole you see that's pre-drilled here on the side panel. Insert your H5 screw and tighten. After you've attached both of your support braces to the bottom of your playing field and both side panels, we're on the next step, step 4, and attaching our legs P4A and P4B using our H2 bolt and our H3 washers. Now, one way to determine that you are attaching the correct leg to the correct side of the table is you want to make sure that the hole in the back of the leg matches the hole in the back of the end panel here. You can go ahead and line up your leg to both holes on the side of your leg, to both holes on your side panel. Insert your H2 bolt and your H3 washer. And then tighten your bolts using your Allen wrench. We'll be securing the back of our leg to our end panel using our H1 bolt and our H3 washer. Next, we'll be attaching our leg panels P5 using our H1 bolt and our H3 washer. You just want to go ahead and line up the holes on your leg panel to the holes in the back of the leg. Insert your H1 bolt and H3 washer into the back of the leg. You'll secure using your Allen wrench. Next, we'll be attaching our leg levelers P10 to the bottom base of our leg. You just want to go ahead and screw down your leg leveler all the way down to the bottom base of your leg. Now the purpose of these leg levelers is to stabilize your table during play, so that if one side is higher than the other, you just unscrew a couple notches to even out your playing field. After you completed step 4, we're now on the next step in flipping over our table. This is a two-person job, so you need some assistance for this part of the assembly. What you want to make sure is that you don't rest the weight of the table on either of the legs. So you just want to turn over your table in one swift, full motion so that all the legs hit the ground at the same time. After you've had some assistance turning over your table, we now go on to the next step, step 5, in inserting all of our rods and attaching each player to each rod. The most important part of assembling your foosball table is making sure that all the rods and players are in the right position. So you want to carefully review the diagram located in the instruction manual prior to inserting your rods. What you want to make sure is that you have the correct amount of players per holes in the rod. You also want to make sure that there's a hole on the correct side of the table where the handles will later go. Now before we insert our rods and attach each player to each rod, I'm going to show you an already assembled table and explain to you the differences between a one-man goalie versus a three-man goalie setup. One-man goalie versus a three-man goalie setup. Now with this table, you have the option to have either a one-man goalie or a three-man goalie setup. Most beginners and some others prefer a three-man goalie setup because there's more defense around the goal, making it harder to score and giving the user more control over the field. Some others prefer a more fast-paced one-man goalie setup. It's completely up to you. To have a one-man goalie setup, instead of having the other two outer men on the goalie rod, you replace them with the 4 black stop rings. Next, place the 4 green triangle corner ramps you received on each corner of the playing field. These ramps are only necessary if you intend on staying with the one-man goalie setup. They will not work with the 3-man goalie setup. Next, secure your ramps down using the 4 screws that were provided, and cover the holes using the 4 green plugs. You can optionally place the white field lining tape on both sides of the table to prevent any dead spots, if any at all. Be careful once you lay the tape down. It's hard to pick back up without leaving any smudges. When attaching your players, you want to note that there's a bumper, a washer. Then you want to add the correct amount of players per holes in the rod. Then add another washer. Another bumper. Then complete by the time you do the second hole. And to attach our players, we'll be using our C7 nut and our C6 bolts. Just want to go ahead and line up the hole on the back of the player to the hole on the rod. And insert your C7 nut into the back of the player. Insert your C6 bolt into the chest of the player. Turn the player around and tighten. After you've completed step 5 in inserting all your rods and attaching each player to each rod, we're now on the next step, step 6, in attaching our handles P7 using our H7 nut. So we just want to go line up the hole on the handle to the hole on the end of the rod. Insert your H7 bolt and tighten. One quick note, these handles are really high quality. Most other companies use a really cheap rubber slide-on handles. Also, these rods are semi-hollow, so they are durable enough to rough play, yet light enough to let the player have full control over the rod. If you need any rod lubricant, please contact Kick and we'll send you a free complimentary bottle. Next, you want to slide your rubber caps P8 to the other end of the rod. After you completed step 6 and attaching all of your handles and your rubber end caps to each rod, we can now move on to the next step, step 7, and attaching our slide scores P9 using our H4 screw. Now these holes have not been pre-drilled or marked, so one way to determine that you are mounting it to the center of the end panel is to go ahead and align both ends of your slide score to the inside and both ends of the goalie hole. And insert your H4 screw. Congratulations! We are now officially done assembling our Kick Elite 48-inch foosball table. You are now free to enjoy your table with your friends and family. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please visit us at www.kickfoosballtables.com or email us at support@kickfoosballtables.com.